Good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of 15 Good Minutes. What's up, gentlemen? Freddie, what's happening, buddy?
Trying to stay cool, man. How you guys doing?
Doing well, man. How about you, JR?
I'm all right, man. Just getting in, trying to do a little bit of updating, and another day, another 50 cent.
Take what you can get when you can get it, bro.
I hear you.
I'm gonna put this topic right out there because it may. I'm thinking it's going to spark some interesting comments. But if you go back to last week, Freddie's "I Got Something to Say" was centered around some comments that Stephen A. Smith made regarding President Biden's age. And earlier, JR, you had mentioned, maybe wanting to have a conversation about sports personalities, media people, announcers, whatever you want to call it, and some of the issues that we've seen with them that, in my opinion, I think we're seeing more of than they used to be. So I figure, let's put it on the table and get some ideas. So what I want to do is I'm just going to throw a couple names out at you guys. We'll go along, tell me what you know, what you think. I'm going to start with you, JR, and sticking with Stephen A. Not just your opinion of him, but I mean, going back to Freddie's comments last week, you agree with that? And then secondly, do you think he's, I won't say going off the rail, but is he on the edge as far as you're concerned as a media sports personality?
I like Stephen A., but I still think that there's a difference between reporting on a guy's ability on the field to what his sport is. But I think he was over the line way beyond the edge by calling Luka a tub of lard. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're identifying him as, first of all, you fat shaming, right? And the other thing is, he gets it done, don't he? That's all.
I think he a few days ago just won a national championship, which is something Stephen A. hasn't done. So
you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think, and that's not the first time though. Sometimes, I think just because you speak loud don't mean you're right all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I know that's his thing where he talks loud and he really tries to put his point across to you, and I can understand that. And the other thing is that I have to admit, for him, he gets paid to talk. And there is no ands, ifs, or buts about it. He gets paid a lot more than me. So I guess his opinion resonates with a whole lot of people. And like I said, it's an opinion. It's not always right. And some of the things he says is, maybe over the line a little bit. So,
are you a Stephen A. fan?
I was not as much now because to JR's point, a lot of the commentators, whether they be, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, ESPN, whatever the case may be, FS1, I think a lot of these personalities, they have gotten into the business and they're paid to talk. But then now I think you're not really paid. It's less and less about factual, the factual aspect of it. And it's more about viewership. If I'm on a show and I have 100 million viewers, then chances are some of those viewers are tuning into my network, right? So I think it becomes less and less about the actual facts of whatever the topic may be, and more about getting your followers to be our followers.
I don't like him anymore, right? I mean, I used to, and I'm going back to when I think he was a beat reporter back when Allen Iverson was playing, and I liked his perspective. I liked the way he covered Allen and the 76ers. He's been fired by ESPN before for coming out his mouth wrong, and they brought him back. I think you're both right. It's a business now. You look at the things that he has that have fallen his way, I'll say, since he got back. He's got his own show now. He's on 2 different platforms. He's got his own podcast. I saw something a couple of days ago. It says he's entertaining, running for public office now. And for me, and I know I'm probably in a minority, but I go to sports channels and sports networks and games for one thing and one thing only. Whatever that particular thing is. I've been watching the college World Series super regionals and stuff. And it's just refreshing to watch people that I don't know who they are call a game and just watch the sport. I think some personalities like Stephen A think he's bigger than the game, personally. Kind of like he's been told, by a couple of NBA players, you haven't won nothing, you ain't done nothing. But to your point, JR, I mean, his followers are growing, which means viewership, which is what these networks want. I said I wasn't going to keep it on Stephen A. I'm going to throw some other names at you guys. Tell me what you know about them. I'll start with you, JR. Glenn Kuiper, Oakland A's broadcaster. You familiar with his situation?
Yeah, he got fired. I think it was he got fired. I think this week.
The N-word, right? Wasn't he calling
the N-word on television? He was describing the Negro League and
uniforms,
instead of saying Negro League, he said, the hard one, and just put league.
When did he?
I heard he said it more than once, though, man.
It was like May 7th, May 6th, or May 7th.
Yeah, it was last month.
So
first they suspended him, then they finally fired him. Say again?
Yeah. Everybody said, but it took him about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
but everybody says he's a great guy, and it could have been a slip in the tongue. I don't know.
No slip.
Yeah, Negro and is the kind of different.
I give him zero benefits.
Yeah. And
as old as he is,
to top that off, in 2020, they said he had another incident where he was using.
Yeah. Freddie, you familiar with the Oakland situation?
I am not. Thank you for briefing me on it. But there's a difference. NE and NI, right?
Thank you.
And so, yeah. And so now, he got to go. I mean, as soon as he went off the air, step into my office. We're going to let you go,
Freddie, what can you tell me about the situation where ESPN let Rachel Nichols go? You familiar with that one?
Yeah, that's when she's, said something about, some certain women are getting certain jobs because of, race or whatever. And it's tough, right? It's tough. And I think it's tough because one, she should not have said it. Even if she believed it to be true, it should not have been said.
JR, were you familiar with the Rachel Nichols situation?
I was. I didn't follow it a whole lot, but one thing that upset me about it is it's like I'm tired of the excuse of people of color getting jobs because of their color. You know what I'm saying? Freddie alluded to it a little bit before. Other people have been doing that for years, and there was no problem.
She wasn't making a public announcement. My understanding is she was on a personal phone call and someone overheard her. So I believe that a lot of people think things that they don't say every day. Mm-hmm. I felt bad in a way about this one because she's clearly talking to somebody she knows and respects. It gets overheard, and then it just takes off and run. And then oddly enough, the person that she had the accusations against, Maria A. Taylor, she said, okay, I'm out here altogether, left and went to NBC, and now she does Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
I'll say this too, JR, they bounce back. Rachel's with Showtime Sports or whatever. You know what I mean? She don't have that following that she had.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that
she didn't get the job she wanted.
I like the fact that that Malika ended up with the job long term, another woman of color. So I'm gonna give you another name, a little controversial. Jemele Hill was with ESPN. What do you know about that situation and why she left?
I like Jemele Hill, and what she said, she's on point, and she says what she feels. But you work for a corporation, okay? Your opinions, can lead back to the people that you work for, to make them say that's not our opinion, blah blah blah. And if your company has to do that, there's still an issue.
What's the difference between with that situation and say Stephen A. then? Same company.
Well, no, it's the same thing. The same thing with Steve.
Yeah, but they didn't let him go. They let
but hers was more of the racial overtone. You understand? That's what her thing was about. And so
I thought her thing was that she talked about Trump.
Yes, Trump too, but right.
It
still had racial overtones because of what he believed, what Trump is pushing.
I think Jemele was always someone that I really thought she was talented, and I thought that she let her emotions put her in a place, get her to a place and point to where it got her fired. And is not what she said may not have necessarily been wrong, but you have to understand how it reflects back.
I felt like Mike Smith was collateral damage though, because he just wanted to be a commentator. He went down with that ship hard. I've only seen him once since. I just felt bad for him. I like Mike.
Protection program.
Yeah, I liked him. Sage Steele. Either you guys familiar with what happened to her? So basically, she's still at ESPN. She wasn't fired. She lost her position in primetime because she was very vocal about being an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
And then secondly, from what I read, I haven't been able to follow up on it. Apparently, she was one of the people that was challenging President Obama's ethnicity. For someone who comes from a mixed family herself, that blows my mind. But I wasn't able to look that up. So
her statement was, she's surprised that Obama identifies as Black, being that his father wasn't around. That is like the dumbest.
Yeah. She had some pretty. I'm surprised she got to stay at the network. I thought she would have been gone.
She got a slap on the wrist, really, because she got suspended a week from each of her programs or something like that.
But again, she lost that evening money slot. I think she's on in daytime now. You familiar with that one, Freddie?
God bless her.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just gonna leave it at that, guy, because I could say some stuff, but I'm not. I mean, I like her. I think she's very good, but I think her response was a little bit inappropriate.
Last couple things I'm gonna ask you guys, and I'm gonna start with you, JR, because I think of the three of us, you watch the least amount of live sports. So of the live sports that you watch, do you have any favorite commentators or any that rub you the wrong way?
Only in hockey. I used to not like really Al Koken so much because he was always such a Cap fan. I'm like, dude, you know what I'm saying? It's cool that you like the Caps, but man, you can't blame everything on the rest because they don't win, Some games I watch, I would turn the volume down and turn on the radio.
Those of you that are younger members of the show, the radio is an AM/FM broadcast signal that JR still has in his home where he tunes in to the wires. There's this antenna thing that's up on the roof, and he gets to marry that to that.
I should have said my series. I listened to Sirius.
Well, you said radio.
I listen to Sirius satellite radio, and I tune in on that. Now it's a little behind, but sometimes if I don't like if the game is going slow, I know these guys, they make it exciting, and I can tell because they talk more excited than the TV is actually showing.
One of the guys that I really used to love to listen to when he called games was Hubie Brown. He
still does it.
I
hell of an announcer. We were talking about him at the start of the playoffs. Still getting it at 89 years old, man.
I love him.
Sharp too.
And I also like Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, and then you throw in a little bit of Mike Breen.
That's a good combination.
That's a very good combination. So, but Hubie Brown is one of my favorites. Hubie Brown, he feels like you're watching a game with your grandfather or something. But
he's a treasure, man. He really is a treasure. I like a lot of the TNT folks that call the game at the games. I don't like the crew back at the studio. I like Ernie, but I think that's I'm not a fan of that. I will turn from that when the game's over to go to ESPN. I watch the game on TNT, and I like Reggie. You know what I mean? I like all those guys that are calling the game, but I don't like that. I don't like Chris Everett. I think she's full of herself. Now I watch a lot of tennis, and she was, in my opinion, she was always taking shots at the Williams sisters. It's almost like if they did something good, if you listen, there would be a but at the end. Well, yeah, she won, but if she would have been, it was always something like that, and she won't let go of the fact that her time has come and gone. Yet they keep bringing her back to call different matches. Sometimes I think American broadcasters they just talk too much. So yeah, that was it. I know we went a couple minutes long today, but I wanted to get that covered today. Is there, there is a certain responsibility I think that your sports announcers and media personalities have. Before we go, let me check with the fellas. Freddie, you got anything to say today?
No, I don't.
It's amazing. How about you, buddy? You got anything to say today?
I just want to shout out to my man Shannon Sharp doing his last Undisputed today.
I got one quick thing to say. Congratulations to local guy Jeff Green for hanging in there. You know, he's had one hell of a career, long-term career, open heart surgery not that long ago, was able to come back and play, and got him a championship a few days ago with the Denver Nuggets. Uncle Jeff, congratulations. Even though you ended our season 1 year back in 04, we're proud of you. The whole area here in the DMV is proud of you. Well done. Till next week, folks. We're out.
Peace.